conservative. And yeah, I feel the same way about Jeb Bush. So either one of those guys, I think we need to run away from, screaming, "Run away! Run away!" It's not a good thing. Trust me on this. Not a good thing. But beyond that, anybody else that jumps in, Ben Carson was somebody that early on I thought might have made a good candidate, but at this point in time, I really don't think he's ready yet. I mean, how much time does it take to get ready? It takes some seasoning. He's not used to the world of the body politic, which on the one hand, again, is good. We've discussed that at length. Send people to hold the office that aren't politicians. That's good. But I don't think he's ready yet to handle himself in the public eye in a way that will allow him to maneuver, to maintain the interest of the people, and not allow the press to try and crucify him every time he wants to do something. You know how the press went after W. Well, lots of times they had plenty of ammunition to do exactly that. But in this case, Ben Carson could say something completely innocent, and they're going to twist it around. I don't think he's ready for that yet. Ted Cruz, though. Can you imagine a debate between Ted Cruz and anybody the Democrats are going to throw out there? Now, I really don't think the Democrats want Hillary Clinton. I don't think they want her. I think we've demonstrated plenty enough information and examples over the past few weeks of how they've turned on her. Honestly, I don't think if the Democrats really wanted Hillary Clinton, I don't think Barack Obama would have been able to overtake her when they were running against each other for the nomination a few short years ago. But, be that as it may, you hear a lot of people clamoring for Elizabeth Warren. And I hear some folks saying that Al Gore needs to come out of retirement. Oh my gosh, how scary would that be? But, here we go. Let's take any one of those three. Mostly because those are the only three that I think are realistic at this point. There's still a lot of time between now and the nomination. So a lot of things can happen. But right now, I think it's safe to say that as far as the Democrats are concerned, it's got to either be Hillary, Elizabeth Warren, or a miracle return by Al Gore. Because I don't think Joe Biden has a chance no matter what gets said or done. I just don't. I could be wrong. I can't adequately anticipate every crazy move the liberals are going to make. The so-called progressives are completely off the rockers for the most part, so who knows? But based on where things are right now, I honestly don't think Joe Biden has a chance. In fact, I'd be surprised if he actually tries to run. I mean, I wouldn't be totally shocked, but I would be surprised, because I think, despite the fact that Uncle Joe can be pretty entertaining at times, I don't think he's a complete and total moron. I don't think he wants to be in a position where he gets embarrassed the way he probably would be if he went after the nomination, because even Hillary should mop the floor with Joe. And like I said, I don't think the party wants Hillary, but I think they would want Joe Biden even less. Elizabeth Warren is somebody they can get behind. But anyway, let's take those three. Can you imagine a debate between Ted Cruz and Hillary Clinton? Imagine a debate between Ted Cruz and Elizabeth Warren. So that intrigues me more than any of the others, though. Because Hillary's a criminal, and she's a liar. That's been pretty well demonstrated. Al Gore, I'm not sure if he's lying or if he's just out of touch with reality. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'll say that Al's probably just out of touch with reality. Because, it's not a lie if you believe it. If you think it's true at the time you say it, it's not a lie. And I think Al does believe a lot of what he says. So I'm not going to call Al a liar. There are times he has lied, I'm sure, but I'm not going to call Al a liar right here. I'm going to say Al is out of touch. But I think of those three candidates, Elizabeth Warren is the most interesting for the debate purposes to me, because then you really do have somebody who, at the very least, she stands on the principles that she believes in. She is one of the so-called progressives. She makes it very clear. She doesn't mince words. She tells you exactly who she is, what she wants, what she stands for. And I would think it would be so very interesting to see somebody who stands on the principle and the Constitution, the way Ted Cruz has to this point, who's good at debating, going up against the exact polar opposite of that, and then let the American people decide once and for all, or at least for the time being, what direction is truly right for America. I think that poses a very interesting debate possibility. But regardless of all of that, no matter how else you cut it up, however you divide it, one thing is undeniable at this point. Ted Cruz is running for president. Right now, he's running for the Republican nomination. And he's the first big-name candidate to officially announce. Now, I say big name because there are other candidates that aren't really as well-known, media darlings. I was going to say aren't exactly media darlings, but the bottom line is that Cruz isn't exactly a media darling, is he? The media doesn't like him. But at any rate, I say this because I've actually had as a guest on the Sunday show, Tap Into the Truth, someone who has announced their candidacy for the Republican nomination several months back. I'm not going to tell you about it right now. I'm going to ask you to go back and check out the past shows of Tap Into the Truth. For this one, you'll have to go over to blogtalk.com, look up the Tap Into the Truth show page, and then you will see a few episodes down someone running for president. So that's your challenge. I'm challenging you. There's actually two titles. I need to go back and edit the first title. I haven't gotten around to it. I did edit the show description, though, because the first time he was scheduled to be on, he had a scheduling conflict. He wasn't able to make it, but he was on the next week. And that week, had a good conversation with the gentleman, and it was enlightening, and it was a good thing. So, I mean, Cruz isn't technically the first candidate in the race, but for all intents and purposes, the way the media is going to spin it, the way everybody from Fox News to CNN is going to say it, that's going to be the deal. But Cruz is in, and the question now becomes, what's next? Because what we're going to have is people on both sides of the aisle are going to continue to attack, but support's going to grow. You can go to tedcruz.org, where he is supposedly, and I say supposedly because this is from various reports, receiving tons of support, and has already received several tens of thousands of dollars in donations from small contributors. When you can do that in less than 24 hours time, as he's done, that's pretty promising. I think Ted has a pretty good chance of making some noise. So, tell you what, going to take another quick break, and then when we get back from that, we'll take a quick look at a few other stories circulating, some of them related to politics, some of them not directly to politics, but a result of the political climate. We'll get to that and a little bit more when we get back. Stay with us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thanks for staying with us. As always, this is your host, Tim Tapp, and we are bringing you Tap Into the Truth from historic Roane County, Tennessee. If you're listening to the show, you've obviously found us, but if you're looking for other ways to consume the show, whether you're listening live or looking to find us on podcast, you can certainly find the podcast at iTunes. You can find us at Stitcher.com. You also can find us at TuneIn. And lots of times, past broadcasts are also easily found at TapIntoTheTruth.com. That's TAPP IntoTheTruth.com. If you're looking for us at Stitcher, I've explained before, I do shows, the show here at Spreaker.com, where you can find this also archived. And I also do shows, primarily a Sunday show over at Blog Talk. And what happens if you're looking for us on Stitcher, you'll actually have to program us in differently. The Blog Talk version of the show you can find if you go to the Browse Shows and then go to News and Politics and then go down Conservative Politics and then just go down the page, you'll find Tap Into the Truth. However, if you're looking for the Spreaker version of the show, which this would be included, you have to actually run a search, and you have to put quotations around TAP, T-A-P-P, Into the Truth. You run the search without quotations around TAP, and it will take you to the Blog Talk version. You put quotations around it, it'll take you to the Spreaker. So I'm not real sure why we couldn't unify the shows at Stitcher, but at any rate, both versions are there. You can find us there. Some of you guys have obviously already done that because we're getting lots of play over at Stitcher. In fact, Stitcher is the fastest growing segment of the listening audience of the show, and let me tell you, thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody takes the time to choose to listen to this show as opposed to all the other great content that's available, especially if you go someplace like Stitcher or Tuned In. Tons and tons of great content. The big names, some of the other names, a lot of podcasters, a lot of folks that do really good shows, a lot of folks doing things in completely different genres. You take the time to listen to this show, I appreciate it. So again, thank you. Now let's get to some non-political, but a result of political climate stories. We're going to move away from the Ted Cruz stuff for now, and we're going to talk about something that's going on in a Lexington high school. This aggravates me. This bothers me a great deal. I mean, I literally have torn emotions all the way around about this story, because on the one hand, it's so funny that it would be hysterical if it wasn't real. You know, if you didn't have to deal with the anger that comes from the fact that somebody has actually taken us down this road. At any rate, high school's American Pride dance has been deemed offensive because it celebrates America, so they canceled it. An American Pride dance at Lexington High School in Massachusetts was canceled because it celebrates the United States. Specifically, it promotes the U.S. exclusively, and the school administrators deemed that to be offensive. I want to see the teacher's green card, please. What administrative officials at the school thinks that there's anything offensive about the United States? They've obviously been studying the wrong history books. At any rate, Assistant Superintendent Carol Pulowski